Just bought your first VPS, you've got an IP address, a root password, and now what? I'm going to show you 10 things you need to do right after spinning up a new VPS. So we are talking SSH hardening, firewall setup, automatic security updates, and even getting a web server configured with free SSL. So I just bought this Hetzner VPS and I'm going to set it up live, step by step. By the end of this video, you'll have a secure server ready to host whatever you want. So if you want the detailed commands and explanations, I've got a full blog post linked in the description, but stick around here for the quick visual walkthrough. Let's get into it. Open up your terminal. I'm using VPS. We need to connect our server like SSH into it, SSH root at the rate, whatever the server name that they gave, 46.224. Enter. This is basically we're using their server in our local computer, like Hetzner server in our local computer. So it asked me this fingerprint, to accept this fingerprint. So I'll type yes. Then it added me to the list. It didn't ask me for any password because Hetzner automatically asked me to give my SSH credentials, so I gave it. But don't worry, it will ask you a root password. So whatever the server you bought in, wherever, whatever provider you use, they may give you a root password to log in. So you just need to use that password to log in. I'll show you a detailed way on how to not use any password and log in right away. See that prompt, root prompt. We are now controlling the server remotely. But here's the thing, we do not want to keep using root. It's like leaving your front door wide open. We'll fix that in a minute. First thing on any fresh server, update all the packages. This patches security vulnerabilities. So I'm going to use this command to do that. And the Y flag auto confirms it. So hit enter. And while this runs, I am going to give you a quick note. This is Ubuntu, which is what Hetzner gives you by default. Commands might differ slightly on other distros. So you can use ChatGPT or anything to find similar command on whatever the distro that you're using. So this is done. Server is now up to date. It might take you a while. I did this already, so it was fast for me. Server is now up to date. Let's create a proper user account. So I'm going to create a non-root user, because using root for everything is dangerous. One wrong command and you can nuke your entire system. We want a regular user that can become root whenever they need, right? So I'm going to use add user command to add my user, naming it Raj, and I'm giving it a password. Keep this password a strong one, and then other fields, I'll just hit enter. Yes. Now we give this user sudo powers. It suggested me already. So we'll use user mod to modify this user to sudo. That's it. We now have a user called Raj who can use sudo to do admin stuff, but runs as a normal user by default. So let's test it. It again gave me auto suggestion. This is what I like about VPS. It auto suggests commands, making it a lot easier. So let's just see if this user is a root with this command. I'm gonna get my password. Yeah, here you see it showed me root and we were able to use sudo. And if it says root, we're good. The user can elevate privileges when needed. Like I said, passwords are weak. They can be guessed, proposed, or stolen. SSH keys are basically uncrackable, so we'll be setting it up. And here is how it works. I have my Mac OS and I have an SSH. I have a server. So I will be having a private key on my computer and a public key on the server. And this both together, they get utilized to create a handshake. This cryptographic handshake is what makes us passwordless authentication. To make this handshake connection possible, we'll go to our local machine, not the server, and then run this command SSH keygen to generate a new key hyphen t ed 25519. And what this is a modern secure algorithm. So hit enter. For default location, password is optional but recommended. So I already did this. I'll show you my SSH keys. It gets stored at ls SSH. You see all these keys got stored. I have my private key here. This is private key and this is public key for it. So we'll use this public key on our user Raj. And right now user Raj has cat sudo cat SSH authorized keys. And I have this. I'll remove this and use my ID to this public key. So what this public key has, first let's remove this sudo. You should not see anything here. I have this because I've set it up earlier. So sudo vim will use vim, then save. Now if I cat the same file, nothing is there. So to copy my ID public key, I'll just use SSH copy ID Raj thread. Raj is my user and this is IP address that Hetzner gave me. So source key is to be installed, attempting to log in. Then it is asking me my password. I'll use my password and hit enter. Done. Now let's test it. So I'll close this connections, exit from root, exit from Raj. Now I'll SSH into my Raj user now, not root user. Earlier we did root user, but now let's SSH into Raj user. And my expectation is, yeah, you see, it didn't ask me any password this time. Perfect. You're in with keys. This is way more secure and more convenient. It didn't even ask me any password. Now we'll have to disable root login because I don't need root at all from now on, right? I have all the access that I need. I can use Raj to run sudo commands, so we don't need root. It is like locking the front door. Now we're going to disable root login entirely and turn off password authentication. And to do that, all the configurations are here. Sudo vim /etc/sshd_config. We have ssh_config and sshd_config. You see ssh config is also there, so don't get confused. It's sshd_config. Hit enter, password for sudo, and search for these lines. Permit root login. Right now it is prohibit password, and we'll keep no for now. I to insert mode, go to end of this line, we'll use no, and then search for password authentication. Password authentication, I to insert backspace to uncomment, which should be no. So we're just saying no password authentication and no root login. Hit escape and then save this, exit vim mode. Now restart the SSH to apply. Sudo systemctl restart SSH. Done. One important thing is keep this terminal open and open a new terminal to test this, because this is important so that you don't lock yourself out, which might cause a lot of damage. When you can again reset your password from console, but that's a bit unnecessary. Open a new terminal and test. You can still log in as your user before closing anything. So let's just test Raj. Great. I can still log in. Yeah, I can still log in. So this is good. If you mess this up, you could lock yourself out, like I mentioned. So it works. Great. Root is now logged out, and nobody can brute force passwords because they're disabled. Um, I'll also test that out. SSH root at the rate. See, permission denied because we had that config. And the next thing is firewall setup. So I'll go to Raj's user and then I will add this command. This is called UFW, meaning uncomplicated firewall. It will build a wall around our server. Once you SSH into your user, you should use this command. Enable the firewall using sudo UFW enable and use Y to confirm. Now see the status of it. UFW. So if it says active, then we're good. Only SSH is allowed. Everything else is blocked by default. I mean, later when we set up caddy, we'll open ports 80 and 443 for web traffic. But now this server is locked down tight. Only SSH gets through. Nothing else. No port is open. That setup failed to ban. Even with keys only, bots will still try to break in. Fail to ban watches your logs and automatically bans IPs that failed too many times. So to do that, use sudo apt install fail to ban. Yes. It works out of the box for SSH. So let's start it. And once this is done, you might want to enable fail to ban and then start it. It automatically suggested me, so I'll use that command. And that's it. Fail to ban is now watching. After a few failed attempts, attackers get temporarily banned. You can customize the rules, but defaults are solid for most people. And next, we'll go to automatic security updates. Security patches come out all the time. You don't want to manually update every day, so let's automate it. And to do that, use this command to install unattended upgrades and then use this command automatically download and install stable updates. Yes, now your server will automatically install security updates. It's smart enough to do security patches, not major upgrades that might break things. So your server is now self-managing for security. One less thing to worry about: caddy and domain. So let's install caddy. I'm using caddy instead of nginx because it handles HTTPS automatically, and I've had a blog post on this as well. I'll link it in the description, so feel free to follow. First, add caddy repository. This gets easier if I open caddy installation ubuntu. So stable release. So we want to use these commands. So we're adding a repository, then doing all this, and sudo apt update, then sudo apt install caddy. Alright, hit enter. Once this is done, we'll have to open the firewall for web traffic, like we mentioned when we are setting up UFW. So for that, we need to use sudo UFW allo 80 and also 443. These are the two ports that are used by caddy. So let's check if it is running. For that, sudo systemctl status. We need to check status of caddy. Sorry, yes. Yeah, it is running and it is enabled by default, so everything is set up. If you visit your server's IP address in a browser right now, you will see a default caddy page. Let's try it out. 46. You see caddy, default caddy page. But we want our own domain with HTTPS, so let's do that. To do that, I'm heading to my DNS records, and here I'll add a record A and pointing to my server IP address 46. I think we should use @. Let's do this. Save. So edit this caddy file, sudo vim /etc/caddy/caddy file. This is where all your reverse proxy is set up. So by default, the port 80 is serving this, and we will be adding a new. Our domain is r44j.online. So I'll use that r44j.online to serve. We don't need this. We purely have r44j.online. I've cleared everything. I'll use response. Caddy is running 200. So now let's just save this, restart caddy, and check the status. If it is running, then once we visit r44j.online, look at that. HTTPS just works. If you copy this, you see HTTPS r44j.online. Caddy is automatically got an SSL certificate. So to recap what we've done so far, we connected via SSH, updated the system, created a non-root user with sudo access, set up SSH key authentication, disabled root login, configured firewall, installed fail to ban for brute force protection, enabled automatic security updates, installed caddy as a web server, and pointed a domain with automatic HTTPS. That's 10 steps. Now I intentionally kept explanations brief in this video. If you want to understand what we did, why we did each step, and see the exact commands with detailed breakdowns, I've written a full blog post that goes much deeper. Link is in the description. If this helped you out, smash the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you're setting up servers for the first time, subscribe, because I've got more DevOps and self-hosting content coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.